Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Since 2017, when President Trump stepped into office, you have been battle tested. But are you battle ready? As we enter into the fog of war, it's official. President Trump has officially endorsed Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House. This comes as a surprise to many, especially me and others like Ivan Raiklin, considering Trump announced early on Thursday he would accept the House speakership for a short period while Republicans decided on a permanent replacement. Of course, President Trump recently issuing a statement on Truth Social declaring his intentions. He says, "I am running for president. I have a 62-point lead over Republicans, and I'm up on crooked Joe Biden despite the Democrat Party's massive lawfare, weaponization, and election interference efforts by 4 to 11 points. But we'll do whatever is necessary to help with the Speaker of the House selection process short term until the final selection of the great Republican Speaker is made. A Speaker who will help a new but highly experienced president, me, make America great again," President Trump wrote. Well, President Trump, I have this cigar right here on my desk. It is a special limited Let's Go Brandon edition. 45 commemorative cigar. If you become Speaker or President in the next 24 months, before 2024, I should say, I'm going to crack this and light it right here on the show and start smoking and celebrating.
Of the 11,945, almost 12,000 intelligence reports between 2017 and 2021, only 901, less than 10%, under 1,000, related to domestic terrorism. But they are now calling domestic terrorist the same thing as domestic extremist. Of course, terrorists are trying to terrorize people, like with the planes flying into buildings. It wasn't to kill the people in the planes. It wasn't to kill people in the buildings. It was to terrorize everybody who saw that. Of course, that's a big stretch. But of course, when you can say a man's a woman and a woman's a man, and men can have children, it's not that difficult at all. So why is this so important right now? Well, I'm explaining to you why Hillary is climbing out from under her rock, because the intelligence community is in trouble. The FBI is in trouble. And also, this ties into why, for the first time in history, the Speaker of the House, McCarthy, was just ousted. So that's a good thing. He's very corrupt. I did an interview with the SGT, Sean, on the SGT report, saying that's good because the resistance is building. Although a lot of people are really happy about this. They think politics is the answer. It's not. The rhinos and the demonerats are the same. There's just a few statesmen up there, and for the most part, they don't get what's really happening.
All right, Thrive Nation, I got to tell you a quick backstory before I introduce today's guest. I have been listening to Yuval Noah Harari, the top advisor for Klaus Schwab. This man is praised by Obama, Zuckerberg, Gates, MIT, Stanford, Harvard, saying the most unspeakable, blasphemous comments at scale. And I've been looking for pastors that were willing to discuss Yuval Noah Harari, who, in my opinion, sounds a lot like the Antichrist prophet, but we'll see. But I couldn't find very many pastors willing to talk about Yuval Noah Harari, yet he is the lead advisor for the World Economic Forum. So I'm going to hit play here, folks, and play this first little clip here, and then I'll introduce today's guest. Here we go.
AI is gaining mastery of language at a level that surpasses the average human ability. And by gaining mastery of language, AI is seizing the master key, unlocking the doors of all our institutions, from banks to temples. Because language is the tool that we use to give instructions to our bank and also to inspire heavenly visions in our minds.
Pastor Steve, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Hey, it's great to be here with you, Clay.
So, okay, so I'd love to get your thoughts here. Who is Yuval Noah Harari, biblically speaking?
Well, biblically speaking, there's a couple of Antichrist figures in Revelation chapter 13. There's at least two, and I count actually a third one in Revelation 17. I think he fits into the second Antichrist figure. That's the beast that rises up out of the earth. In English, it says earth. In the Hebrew, it says Eretz, which is the land of Israel. So that's where some people have the theory that the Antichrist is going to be Jewish, but I don't think he is. I think it's the false prophet in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, the one that rises out of the earth. And Yuval Noah Harari, the middle name is important, like Barack Hussein Obama. It's important to know where the name comes from and what it means. He's Israeli born. He's a famous author that's been pumped up everywhere. I mean, every airport I go to, I see his book, displayed very prominently for people to see. And it's not that good a writing. And he's an advisor to Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. He studied at Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Interesting detail, he deferred military service. And one last thing that people need to know is he is a gay who was very hurt by the Torah and what the Bible believes and what Christianity preaches. So he's operating out of a lot of hurt. That's who I think he is. We would start with Revelation 13, and I would ask the listeners to go and read the whole chapter because it's a lot of verses. But that figure that comes in to try to control, the Antichrist is a political figure that tries to control everybody. And what he's saying is he wants to control not just control you politically, which is what politicians do. He wants to control you biologically. He wants to have total surveillance. And he just can't get away from the subject of God, which is what the Antichrist will be like. He's supposed to be this political figure, and yet he constantly blasphemes God. He speaks evil things against God. Here's some quotes from him. God is dead, according to Harari. It's just taking a while to get rid of the body.
Just repeat after me. We do not surgically damage healthy parts of our bodies and stop their God-given function. So if you're a perfectly healthy human being, I know you've got all these other people here, you're not perfectly healthy. Just put yourself to the side. You're a perfectly healthy human being. You do not have a surgeon go in and destroy your body.
Boom.
And if you repent from that and you turn from that, then and only then will you be able to help children understand that they are made in the image of God, to accept themselves being made in the image of God, and then give their bodies completely over to God and say, God, what do you want me to do with this body that you've given me?
It really is transgender surgery.
All right, so let's roll this clip with Tucker Carlson talking about the money behind it and the influence behind it, this transgender industry.
And debating people on it. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone describe what exactly the surgeries are. I don't think you're allowed to ask. I haven't Googled for photographs because I'm not sure I want to see them, but that's like not part of the conversation. Like the details have kind of been omitted here. So what are the surgeries?
They're purposely omitted.
So, okay, so let's get specific and turn this off if it bothers you.
No. For instance, I think probably one of the most graphic and invasive procedures is called a vaginoplasty. And that is where a male to female patient is castrated, testicles are removed, the penis is inverted to create a vaginal cavity, and then skin grafting is used to create other elements of female genitalia, vulva, labia, etc. But what we found is that there was a study from California.
They can't even do lip filler in a convincing way in this country. You can't tell me they can recreate something as complex as female genitalia. I'm sorry.
Of course they can. And there's a study out of California of 869 vaginoplasty patients. And of those 869, 25% post-op had side effects to the surgery that were so severe that they required additional hospitalization. Of those
25%.
Yes, and of those 25%, 44 had to have major revisional surgery due to bowel injuries, bleeding. Also associated with this particular procedure is total loss of sensation, in other words, sexual functioning.
Total loss.
Total loss, irreversible.